Hello. So it's been like a year since I started collecting vinyls. With my first salary I got a nice sound system set with some speakers and an amplifier, record player. And I have to say it has really changed the way I experience music, because of the fact that you start listening to albums as one piece and stop using music a little bit as this like fast food mentality. So it really made me enjoy music a lot more, both for the sound and also for the concept of the albums and what an artist is trying to put. So I just wanted to talk about like 10 records that I really like, that I have gotten in the last year. They are not necessarily the best nor the best sounding, just some that made an impact on me for one reason or another. The first one, well, we're gonna start with a classic, which is a Mad Villains Mad Villainy. Of course, this is the collaboration in 2004 between MF Doom and Madlib. Which produces one of the best, in my opinion, hip-hop albums of all time. It's 2 vinyls, so 4 sides. And to be honest, I almost debating with myself what side is better, because all of them have amazing songs. And the final song, Rhinestone Cowboy, is crazy, sort of like this outro song where the Madlib includes this clapping sound while MF Doom is just fucking going for it. When you think it's over, he still has like a lot more bars to give. Amazing album, perhaps not the best sounding ever, but I think that was also the point of the album.
You heard it on the radio, tape it, play it in your stereo, your crew will go ape shit.
Everyone that has a record collection will understand that sometimes the best records are the ones you just buy randomly. You have no idea what it is, but you just get that good feeling, that good connection with it. But certainly one of them for me, which is also one of the first I ever bought, Let the Ambulance Pass, is this Tad Jones and Charles Mingus collaboration. It's a jazz album, which is just super subtle trumpet plus bass, which on the speakers it just sounds like so calm and well isolated, each of the sounds, while still mixing together so well, which is kind of perfect for ending the day, a tough Tuesday or something. So staying on the jazz genre, this is actually the record that made me start the collection. It's called The Case of the Three-Sided Dream in Audio Color by Rahsaan, Roland, Kirk. I'm not sure if you can see it well, I think we're at counterlight. So Rahsaan, Roland, Kirk, this guy was a crazy, underrated jazz multi-instrumentalist. He was blind, I think, since he was a kid. He played like 3 saxes at the same time in his concerts, I don't even know how. And this is basically an album where he's having dreams all the time about these machines and these aliens and so on. And it's just like really good jazz, with some nice guitars, which is always amazing with jazz in my opinion, electric guitars. And the reason why this made me start collecting vinyls is because I went to Japan, to Tokyo, for a week. And so I decided I would visit as many jazz bars as I could, because I heard jazz was huge in Japan and there were all these listening bars, which are sort of consequences of the American presence after World War II, which brought jazz, and the Japanese absolutely loved it, which in itself is a super interesting topic worth of a separate video. But I went to a jazz bar, one of the first ones next to where I was staying, and they were playing this vinyl. And there were 4 people in that bar. It was like me, the classic schoolgirl type person, and a very old woman. And the old woman was crying with the vinyl, and I talked with the guy that was regenting that bar, and he told me about this album. And so when I first started collecting, it's one of the first ones I got. And I just thought it was so beautiful, the culture of just playing a vinyl and no one was speaking at the bar, because at some of these bars you cannot even speak. And just like listening to the music. So thank you, Rahsaan, Roland, Kirk. Okay, so we've seen some rap by Matt Villani and Men of Doom. We've seen some jazz. It's time to mix the two and also a bit of local Catalan flavor to find the next album, which is an album by Extraño Weys. Les abelles palmen, però els pàjarus encara canten. It's this Catalan duo of MC and producer that makes this very original rap album. And this genre of Catalan rap jazz, which previously to this I completely had unexplored and didn't know anything about it. It's great to hear people rapping in your own language. I've been also trying to rap in Catalan for some years, even if just with friends and so on, and I've always liked that Catalan flavor of rap, so I'm really happy to have discovered this album. It sounds completely magnificent. I'm quite sure that the producer, Victor Pizza, takes a lot of care into putting the right sound into the record, and it really shows in this. So I'm really excited to see what they do next. Okay, we have to do a little bit of a switch of genres, enough of that jazzy, wazzy stuff, and we move into more experimental and weirder things, in this case an electronic record. This record by Floating Points, definitely one of the most nerdy, weird, experimental guys out there in the electronic scene. So I'm not sure what the word is for this, but the cover essentially is showing what micro painting is, where you have droplets of paint and augmented via microscope, and it's very dynamic and very trippy visuals. The album is indeed like this as well. It mixes, and Floating Points is one of the best ones at this. Classical music with electronic elements. Some of them are more reflective, some of them are more apt for a party. Overall, it's a beautiful record. It sounds incredible in a stereo system, and definitely one of my favorites of the year. It is extremely warm these days, so of course we have to talk about warm record next. And this is a 1972 record, I think, Brazilian music. I don't know what exactly you would define this as. It's not bossa nova, it's not psychedelic rock. It's a bit of everything. It's a genius record, and it's Arthur's Berocai self-titled first album. This album, as I said, mixes a lot of genres and does this masterfully. Arthur Berocai, the guy that doesn't even like sing on it, this is just the director, like in an orchestra of classical music. There's not much I can say about this album other than I think it was quite forgotten when it first came out in the 70s, and then it was through the producers of hip-hop that were sampling from everything they could find that it kind of resurfaced, one of them being Madlib that we visited previously for the Matt Villani album. And Arthur Berocai, the man is now like 80 something and doing tours around because he finally found like the recognition that he always deserved, and if everything goes well I might be able to see him in less than a month's time, which is really crazy. Arthur Berocai, I love you. With your warmth, let me survive these days of heat. Continuing a little bit on the thread of world music and electronic. If you mix both, you get electronic music with sounds of the world. It doesn't get much literal than the next record, which is The Loa of Music by Roberto Musci. Roberto Musci is an Italian guy, which back in the 70s or 80s, I think 80s, traveled all around the world, and instead of taking a camera, video camera, photo camera or a journal, his way of remembering where he was at, what he was doing was field recorder. So he was recording all the sounds of everywhere he was going. He went a lot to Africa, went a lot to Asia, the Middle East. And what came out was this record. It's The Law of Music. He basically mixes these sounds, which a lot of times have to do with music, but other times really don't have to do with music. It can be the sound of water, or it can be a conversation that he records somewhere, and adds his theoretical music education to add a very subtle and not invasive at all electronic sounds. The record is produced masterfully. The sounds are really well spatially distributed, which makes for an incredible listening experience. Definitely a record I would recommend to, for example, meditate or even just close your eyes and really let your thoughts flow or not flow. We are gonna stay a bit on world music, but we are slowly gonna go towards the rock side of things, or indie, or I don't know what. In this case we're staying in India, and the album I want to talk about, Bismillah. What? I don't think you can see anything. I don't think you can see me. But this is Bismillah from Peter Cat Recording Company. These guys are an Indian group from New Delhi, and they do this indie music with touches inspired from their own like Indian sounds, of course. I really like them. I feel like they remind me a little bit of like the Beatles in a modern sense of things, and saving the distance, the Indian Beatles. These guys were playing weddings up until some years ago, where Spotify kind of got them a wider audience, and since then they've been touring, but they are not on their 20s or anything like that, which I think makes it even more endearing, and the live shows are really cool. The guy really seems like taken out of a karaoke bar at late night. And if Peter Cat reminded me of the Beatles, of course I couldn't finish this video without mentioning the Fab Four. I have some records of the Beatles. One that I'm happiest about is that I got the latest anthology one, which is at least a record that has come out this last year, so a Beatles record that comes out while I'm a Beatles fan. But the album I want to talk about now, it's not from now, it's in fact from 61 years ago, and it is Revolver. I would say the album that clearly marks the transition of the Beatles between a group of four guys that were making love songs and filling up crazy arenas and really a product that everyone was obsessed with, to actually doing whatever they wanted to. It was also around this time that they started experimenting with LSD and the more psychedelic substances and practices. How much these two facts are connected, I'm not sure, but certainly to an extent they are, and Revolver really shows it right from the portrait. The songs themselves are incredible. Of course, you have like the opening three songs are Taxman by George Harrison, followed by Eleanor Rigby by Paul McCartney, and the third one is I'm Only Sleeping by John Lennon. Three very different songs by three different writers, all in the same group. They are all three timeless hits, and it sets the tone for the remaining of the album, which in itself is just so good, and it kind of like hinted at what the Beatles were about to do in the next years with Sgt. Pepper's Magical Mystery Tour and so on. And what we're left with is a final touch of the local place, the place where you are living and where you're existing. It's always nice to hear the sounds of those that shape that. And in this case I stumbled upon a random record by Toots, who is like a Belgian jazz legend. The guy played the guitar, played the harmonica a lot. This vinyl is beautiful, it's super soft and super gentle, and it's great to play on a late night in Brussels, hearing the ambulances in the far, as you usually do in the city. To Thielemans, thank you so much. I will keep on exploring, but I will keep on exploring the Belgian jazz scene, thanks to you. Now you know.
Sorry.
Oh, that's good, that's good.